if Fidesz would be expelled already from the party, then you would have not answered another question to me, because then we have the party political dispute anymore. That is not solving the problem. We are in front of a big crisis of the European Union. Now the question is, how can we overcome the veto from Hungary as a country and from Poland as a country, and probably as well others? That is the challenge on the table. Again, I'm clearly committed. I voted for Article 7 against Hungary, to start the procedure against Hungary. So I'm aware that we are facing, there are a lot of problems with fundamental principles, no doubt about this. But again, the question is, how can we overcome now the veto? And I tell you that from my part of view, from our EPP point of view, there will be no agreement with Council without a binding rule of law mechanism. That is a red line for the European Parliament, and everybody in Council for Thursday must know this. That is the clear requirement from our side.
So is it up to then, it seems to be up to Angela Merkel and the German presidency to try and sort this out? What is the solution? I still don't see where the compromise can be found.
It is challenging, yes, you're right, because we have, for the moment, a very tough wording from Hungary and Poland on the table. And yes, the German presidency has the responsibility to negotiate things now. Angela Merkel is very experienced and also trusted by a lot of council members. So she has a good chance to find a compromise. And again, having in mind that an overwhelming majority of members of European Parliament, and additionally, overwhelming majority of council members, because 25 members on Monday supported the rule of law mechanism, only 2 on Monday opposed to this. Having this in mind, that there is already such a great success and support for such a model on the table, we will not give up on this. That must be clear for the council negotiations. You cannot ask to renegotiate the agreement on substance.
What would it mean if this budget or the recovery fund doesn't get passed, if it is blocked, or even if it's delayed?
Europe needs now this push, this recovery perspective for our economy. Around 8% will be the deficit for our GDP this year. China is having no deficits this year. So that's why it's also a geopolitical question whether we are the big loser of the economic damage after Corona, or whether we will still be a globally leading continent. So a lot is at stake, and I think the council members are aware about this.
There still doesn't seem to be a coordinated approach, a coordinated EU approach. Different countries still seem to be doing their own thing, closing borders, different testing and quarantine regimes. The EU still seems not to have got a grip of an EU coordination on travel.
Well, you're right, we can do better. And that's why I welcome very much the proposals from the European Commission to really establish a health union in the European Union. But when you compare the March lockdown with today's situation in Europe, then we have, especially for our single market, open borders. So we have not closed borders like in March this year. We have also guaranteed that we assist each other. So in Bergamo in March this year, there was no help from Austria or from Germany. Today, we have patients from Belgium who are treated positively in Germany, or from Czech Republic who are welcomed in Austria. So there is a better coordination, and you mentioned it. Although the vaccine is a success story, that together we go to the markets and buy the vaccine doses for our citizens, that equally every European have the same access to this new vaccine, to the hope, to the light at the end of the tunnel, that we can really fight against Corona. So there are things which are getting better now, but you are right, we have to improve still things.